got scammed of everything I have and more, got stuck in drugs and almost died twice. I'm a 36M that was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was around 20. Growing up, I had no help in school or at home in regards of any understanding of why I was behaving differently or why I was talking more with the grown-ups than with other kids. When I was 13, my parents and sister was in a car accident that almost killed all three of them. New car was the only difference between being her today. This though changed the whole dynamics and I had to grow up in one night. After that there was no more normal family, doing things together, or even talking much. They all were focused on their own chronicle issues, PTSD and traumas. That makes sense of course and I don't blame they, but I became all alone from this point on. I got my first relationship when I was 16, but all in all that was a time where everything started to collapse on a new level. We broke up. My only friend and I was growing apart from following each other since we were 6. It was a given seeing we had different interests. We had a couple of deaths in the family. One was my niece being 1.5-year-old. I started to get issues with my body getting some pain that noon could figure out why, making me stay in bed for maybe 3 months or so. Now we were in the end of my high school time last semester, but the teachers showed some understanding and adapted for my situation and I was able to go out with decent degrees. It'll jump a bit. A few years forward and a few jobs later I got an internship in a company that was gonna grow for a decade to come. I loved it. I was working with my hobby which few people in this world will ever do. I was very happy with this opportunity of course. I got promoted and moved to an office across the country, so I had to travel back and forth every week. I worked 60 hours weeks for 13 years which was fine because I loved it. Evenings, weekends, red work free days, vacations, always working or always ready to work. So I have many issues with my body. One is chronic pain. One is autoimmune diseases that might kill me if I don't make the right choices. High iron levels. Sleep apnea. I'm not a big guy by the way, and a skin disease that have stopped me from going to the beach, massage, spa, vacations abroad, etc. So my goal was to find me a home where no one could see into my garden and I could be free. The mental effects something like this have on you are extreme and you think about almost every day. I have to pick my clothes carefully for example. Same goes for another issue I have. I have a brain cyst that one day will need surgery, and I have a neurological issue that makes me sweat for no reason. So going back to picking clothes it's limited, but sure not my main issue on life. By never doing anything and eating ramen for lunch every day for 7 to 8 years, I was able to find my dream home. After all this it was just such a relief and finally I feel home and in peace. At this point I was around 28 to 29 years old. Except my dog, I had been alone single for a decade now. My dog in my home was everything to me. I had 2 other goals in life that I was gonna start working for. Now being in the place I was, one of the goals was to save enough money every month that I could take care of my parents when they were ready for official retirement. Since the accident they had not been able to work because of their different handicaps. They had insurance helping out money-wise because the accident wasn't their fault. But when they hit 65 that is all gone and they will get minimum pension from the state because missing out 50% of their work life. So it was up to me to make this happen. I started to invest money and I was doing alright. I was at this point getting myself a girlfriend from another side of the world. We are now married with 1 kid. This is the best thing in my life even though I struggle a lot with the intense side of life. Sounds, stickiness, not being clean around me, no own space, no free time anymore, etc., etc. And for you guys knowing about Asperger and autism, well, you get it. My daughter is real young to be diagnosed, but I would personally say she seemed to have ADHD and autism as well. This put extra pressure on me with my personality. She have sleeping issues and wake up 8 to 10 times a night which have affected us a lot. It's just rough. So my wife struggled to find a job for around 5 to 6 years. Corona didn't help of course. Language barriers didn't help either. She suffers from GAD as well. Being from a country with no safety net it lands on her to help her family. Me, in this case. Just as my parents' future lays on my shoulders, most of my money and savings for my parent went to cover her living with me helping her mom each month. Helping her with a surgery another is needed in near future. This was maybe 3 years ago or so. I started, thank good, to do well with my investment and mainly it was thanks to me following Tesla in its up and downs and huge ups. With everything I had at one point been able to grow my money to 1.7 million, I could finally start planning for my next and last goal, which was to help people and animals in need during this period. I found what I thought was a promising investment opportunity. Despite thorough research indicating its legitimacy, I invested a significant portion of my savings. I did everything right, starting small and taking out my profits. I started to give away to different organizations that helped animals, and as well to different influencers who have money to others. This was an ongoing thing for months, while I started to look around in the world on where I should start a company as main goal row take care of my investments, lower taxes, more money to give away. I decided to take a loan of 600.0 to invest in my IDEA. One morning I was gonna go check my portfolio only to find the platform shut down. I started with 1.7 million, losing some because must tank the market selling of stocks to cover taxes and to buy more stocks. This happened twice, and my 600.0 and now all gone. This loss, combined with my health issues and leaving my job of 13 years, pushed me to the brink of suicide. I had planned everything for my family's life after my death, but I survived an overdose and met a doctor who encouraged me to seek help. I have jumped a bit of this part. It was actually to overdoses. At one point I finally was strong enough to try to fight this, being in debt for the rest of my life and soon enough lose our home. I started a consulting business with my wife. This was 1 year ago today. I have been clean for about the same amount of time, still going to meetings of course. Sadly though, with the world being as it is, our business isn't enough to keep our home. The guilt for everything from being scammed, the debt, not taking care of my chronic issues, me almost dying twice from ODs. It's just, and all the people depending on me, my parents, me wife, kid, her family, it's just not enough. I have been hit with 2 raises of mortgage rates, and in a few weeks a third will hit. Then it will be game over and our home will be gone. Despite these challenges, losing the house feels like the most crushing blow. It's my sanctuary, the only place where I find peace and a sense of safety, a space that feels truly mine in this world. I've poured everything into securing and maintaining this home, and now it's my family's home. I really don't know what I want to get out of this post. I think it's mainly just a vent of my brain that I need just now. No one knows about this except for my wife, and I just feel the need to share. Maybe it can give hope to others out there that even though life is rough, you can stand strong in the end. Not saying I'm there yet, because I have a lot to come that will really test me once again. I'm not a believer, but I could use a break, please. How am I supposed to make this work while in debt for the rest of my life? It doesn't matter if I work double jobs and nothing else in life. Everything will come collapsing down now, and I'm stuck for life with my choices. And it will affect my family in a very bad way as well. My parents will have nowhere to go in a couple of years, and this just kills me as well. I really don't know if my text makes any sense in form of timeline and different issues. I just had to get this out there. If you read everything, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'll do my best going forward for my family, but I don't know if I will be able to. I can only try and to take day by day, but the guilt, anxiety is slowly eating me away for good. All this people and organization I was talking with about helping out long term. I'm so sorry for how it ended as well, me just disappearing basically. I couldn't face the truth of my failures and my promises of helping. It was just too rough. I have only cried once in the last 30 years. And it was when my daughter was born, and my dog that I loved so much died the same night. People say it helps to cry, but for whatever reason I don't. Maybe that would help me move forward. It's just too many different things that gives me stress and anxiety. I don't dare to count them, and it doesn't really matter. Or I mean it does. I'm dying slowly from the inside, but doing a list will just make it worse. I got scammed of everything I have, and then some. My family doesn't know, my wife didn't know. I have a lot of health issues and this made it worse. Got drug issues because of this. Trying to survive, but looking for advice on how to move forward.